Excellent Monday to everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm Mariah Falafi Brown. As always, I love my co-host here. Hi, ladies.
Hi, Mariah.
Someone just put excellent in the script. I'm wondering who does that.
Yes.
How are you doing, guys?
We're amazing. We had a fantastic weekend. I just want to gush over Eddie Lawani.
That you did not go for his birthday.
My birthday this year, he bought me this dress. I didn't see him. He wasn't around. And then when I saw him, go and pick a dress, Jumoke. I'm like, if I started this talking, our 5 minutes banter, you know, I remember after university, I was just praying that I heard stories that the work out there, you know, is not easy. And Eddie was just saying to me, by God, my first master's, a 2-year master's in international law and diplomacy, fully paid for. He just entered the office one day. Why are you looking gloomy? I just broken up with my boyfriend at the time. Go and do one master's. It will take your mind off it. And that was it too. When I'm going for lectures, I'll go and collect money for transportation. She been like, you want to send me go school.
Sowed seed. I pray we'll repeat it.
He's a fantastic person, Eddie. Happy birthday once again. God bless you. Right. And it's not just me. He has plenty of children like that he just takes care of. Honestly, a man of God that is not a pastor is Eddie Lawani.
All right. How was your weekend, Nima?
Because he makes it every year for the ESACO Personality of the Year. Every year. Yeah. And I was honored to be with him on the same page last year. So thank you, sir. Well done,
how was your weekend?
Happy birthday.
My weekend was really, really calm. Started a bit dramatic, but it was really, really calm. I've learned something that people that know you. And as much as there were a lot of bashing, I read defenses that was shocking, like really, really. But it just makes you a bit more aware that Nigerians need to read more and not just follow the bandwagon. We have a problem of just reading something and we just run after it. We hear, hey, he killed somebody, and then you've already killed the person without finding out, did he really kill someone? We have that effect, and we need to stay away from it. We need to investigate. We need to be curious for knowledge.
We don't have the culture of making excuses for people. So when you make excuses for people, you try to find out why, what led to what. So Nigerians will just see what we see and we'll go for the kill one time.
All right, cool.
Mariah, how was your weekend?
You do not want to know.
Tell us.
What happened in Akure?
Akure was fantastic.
Back to Lagos.
Fun. Lagos, I had a party, 60th birthday party on Saturday. Very, very nice.
That was the one you really wanted to go for.
That's the one I really wanted to go for. And I enjoyed. We left that party past 10.
Wow.
Like, I joked Kufara Ballet. I said, Brown, are you going to want to pack the chair for them? I mean, but it was really nice. But you know what interesting happened? I got a really nice gift at that party. But there was another party at Landmark that my husband's friend was calling up. Show now, come to Landmark. But we were scared of that traffic. First, I have to say thank you to those of you that stayed at home for the weekend. Thank you. Because Ikorodu Road was free.
People were worried.
Island, back from Island.
Nobody wants to be stuck in traffic.
No. I was like, praise the Lord, I couldn't listen, and they just stayed home. But anyway, I crashed a Landmark party at 10:45.
Wow.
And a friend of mine who actually was in charge of all their souvenirs saw us. He said, hey, one party. He said, we know. Anyway, 10 minutes later,
I brought all the souvenirs to you.
My trunk was full of, and I'm like, quality, not a plastic macaroni type of gift.
Hey, oh my God.
Hey, this Lagos Landmark party.
Please just share.
It was a fantastic.
It's a good thing to share.
Everything was useful. Everything was useful.
It was plastic
break, but I had fun.
It's good.
It was nice to be with family.
It's a phase. Yeah, in a season.
Yeah,
enjoy
let's go to a break. When we come back, it's Monday. Let's get serious. Gonna break, we're right back with the front pages of the newspaper. Stay with us, we'll be right back. We're gonna start with the Punch. Wike locks horns with EFCC over fresh probe into Rivers finances. Picture here of Hawan Dauchi race competition marking the end of Eid al-Kabir at the Emir's Palace. Talking about Eid al-Kabir, I still had salamit yesterday.
People were out
in my neighborhood.
People were weekend party.
I sent another rice again.
No. People were out partying yesterday.
I'm saying.
Salah didn't end.
Officially ended yesterday. All right, mother sells 6-week-old baby and buys phone with proceeds. Policeman kills tailor over alleged stolen clothes. 2019, PDP delays nomination form sale. Buhari says rule of law must be subject to national interest. Primaries APCs meet Tuesday and Thursday. Cocoa processors groan under the 50 billion naira debt and huge losses. Let's talk about this mother who sold her 6-week-old baby.
So this young woman from Aginebude in my area of Edo State decided to sell her baby.
Wow.
6-week-old baby for, because of poverty, of course. She'd been lured into it by one madam who said, no, your husband has not been taking care of you and your children. You can sell this one and give him money to do business since you love him and you want to help the first one.
Joy.
So she got into it and sold it to a supposed orphanage. I don't know now if orphanages now buy babies, but somewhere in Onitsha, they bought this baby for 200,000. From the process, she was able to get a phone. And when she got home, trouble was waiting because she had approached her husband with the idea and he said, no, don't even try it. But she went ahead and tried to sell the baby.
How can a mother?
Now,
I can't rationalize
so,
it.
if you see the picture,
if she went to buy phone, it's not poverty.
See,
how can you name a baby greatness? And your own name is miracle. And you still go and sell greatness.
I don't understand.
Anyway.
Now, if you see her picture, you know that the consequences are very there. I know in that area, for one, she will be stigmatized, ostracized.
The policeman was
such a terrible
killed a tailor for alleged stolen clothes in Adamawa. And I think somebody came to complain that the tailor stole their clothes. And instead of them to do a proper investigation...
He was alleging the tailor bought stolen clothes.
Bought stolen clothes, exactly.
So 2 people had approached the tailor with clothes and he bought them and deposited 1,500. Based on this, a policeman arrested him. He didn't bother to do any investigations, but tortured him until he went into coma, rushed him to all the hospitals, and all the hospitals, even within the barracks, rejected him till the man died. Now, this is not a way to investigate. I'm hoping that since he's made the papers, the commissioner for police in Adamawa State will look into this and make sure this man is prosecuted. Whoever the group of officers that they committed the murder, so they should be prosecuted.
Now to The Nation. Rivers government kicks as EFCC probes 117 billion naira transaction. Tribute as McCain dies. CBN 9% credit policy excites farmers. Ajimobi to rebuild Ayefele's music house. Okay, Ayefele and Ajimobi are trending over the weekend.
And they are still trending. But Wiki and EFCC are also trending, where EFCC is saying that the Rivers State misappropriated 117 billion naira in transactions, withdrawal from the state accounts, and they're trying to investigate. And Governor Wike is saying that until they put aside the 2007 judgment that puts a stay on investigations of the River State accounts, no River State staff or official is going to answer the EFCC. I overheard someone also saying that how come it is River State, Borno, that we are investigating? What happened to Edo State? Has anybody investigated?
But if you go through the quotes, it says that 117 billion naira suspicious transactions in 3 years. Withdrawals made by mostly one person on June 8, 2018, about 45 checks, 450. So there are suspicious transactions that one person
I agree.
Continually.
And I think that if we check all the 36 states, there will be suspicious transactions. Yes, so this looks political. I wanted to quickly mention Senator McCain, may he rest in peace, because he made the headlines.
He died from brain cancer. He stopped mistreatment 2 days before his death.
People were saying that we've had 3 lawmakers in Nigeria die this year, and we didn't really pay them this much attention.
Anyway, who's talking about
Ajimobi?
Go ahead, please, very quickly.
Because the reconciliatory move has gone to the extent that Ajimobi has pledged to help to rebuild the partially demolished music house, that it will be rebuilt without the infringement. So the demolition will be compensated for. I'm happy that they've been able to get to a point where both parties have been resolved. He also said that it is nothing political and that that's why he's going to help to rebuild it. That he just wanted to ensure that nobody contravenes the law and that it was built on government property, and that part is taken out.
That this same treatment is given to everybody. A community that, gives special, partial treatment to certain people.
Please,
if it wasn't Ayefele, would they be reviewed?
You guys are so funny.
They talk from both sides.
I mean, I don't get it.
What do you mean 2 sides of the mouth, Morayo?
Show mercy.
And then I
never said show mercy.
Anyway, let's
never said that.
Please, CBN has said that they're going to give us 9% loan to agriculture. No, but we didn't know the figure that time. They just released the figure now. So they had said last week that there will be a new percentage or one-digit loan for Greek people, and now it's been confirmed that you can go to the bank, and if they don't give you, you could petition the bank that you have access to.
Moving on very quickly now to Daily Sun, 2019 presidency, Saraki Tambuwa plot strategy. Obiano to join APC after tenure, says Ngige. Picture of Third Mainland Bridge opened. We won't sacrifice national insecurity. So national security for rule of law, Buhari tells lawmakers. I think we talk about now. Nigerians in China upbeat about president's visit, and soldiers in trouble over Maiduguri airport rebellion.
Please don't take the soldiers in trouble. Or
okay, go ahead.
Okay. So 2 weeks ago, a group of soldiers did, there was a mutiny. They protested within Maiduguri airport. They shot into the air. They were protesting their redeployment. They felt they were redeployed into another local government that they didn't want to go. And so they went to protest that. And so right now they are going to face, they said there will be a general court martial specifically to try these people, that it is against their rules when they signed up voluntarily to become army officials, that they were going to protect the territory of Nigeria. And so wherever you're deployed to, you're supposed to go there. So these people will be court-martialed.
So I read the story and I felt, yes, that's the law. But of course, again, their welfare, motivation at work, the kind of burial they gave them in the past, these are issues the officials who are court-martialing them should be checking.
Also,
they should be looking
in
into.
addition.
Yes, because these people are not motivated. That is why they protested. This is not the first time they are deployed or redeployed. But if they protested, then there must be an underlying issue that they must
Let's
also
move on
check.
to the Nigerian Tribune. Rule of law must be subject to supremacy of nations' security, says Buhari. Our apex, well, let me take a few more. Third Mainland Bridge, we said 32 expansion joint tested. Nigerian varsities short of 40,000 lecturers, says ASU, obviously brain drain. Gunmen killed Plateau speaker's driver and one other. Ajimobi Ladoja Ayefele embraced at Olubadan's 90th birthday. I have not exited APC, says Atiku. Okay, so Buhari speaking.
While talking to the 2018 annual general meeting of the Nigerian Bar Association yesterday, the president said to the judiciary that the rule of law, the rule of law must be subject to national security and national interest at all times. And if you remember, for instance,
El Zakzaki
and Dasuki have been released on bail several times, and they said because of national interest they refused to release them. So that's sort of like backing what he was saying to the judiciary. But people say if a people came together and signed a constitution into law, we must always uphold it. If not, another president can also come and say that it's of national interest to jail all former presidents. Do you understand what I mean? So we have to be careful.
Maybe they should jail all former presidents. Okay. Well, we can't take any more. But the other story, the 40,000?
Yes. So the ASU in University of Ibadan was saying that, they're short-staffed, over 40,000 lecturers, and they're overworked. The present lecturers are overworked, underpaid, and old salaries. And
we know this already now. So really,
over 2 years.
Unfortunately, that's all we can take on front page review. When we come back, we discuss road maintenance in Lagos State. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. Thanks for staying with us. The Third Mainland Bridge was closed between 23rd and 26th of August. This is believed to be an effort using safety and maintenance on our roads in Lagos State. Today we'll be discussing general transportation issues we have in Lagos. People living on the Oshodi-Apapa axis have complained about excessive trucks on the roads. People who have been transporting with the boats have also expressed their fears in using the boats in Lagos State. So we have with us here the Honorable Commissioner for Transportation, Mr. Lade Lawansa. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
I wouldn't go to Nim because I know Nima wants the floor for the Apapa Oshodi, so I'll come to her later for that. But I'd like to, recently we lost somebody quite dear to us concerning on a boat mishap. How safe on that Ikorodu axis, how safe are our boats in Lagos State? Because we really, a lot of people would like that option because, hey, the roads are congested. We don't want to take our cars. But how safe are these boats on the waterways?
Well, the truth of the matter is the current mode of water transportation in Lagos with the locally fabricated boats is not the ideal.
Okay.
Okay, and that's because over time, we in Lagos State have not done enough to unlock the huge potential that we have, being a state that's surrounded by water. So we haven't done any investment that should give us the quality of service that we deserve.
Okay.
So the Akinwumi Ambode administration is aware of that. And also, over time, because of the surging population in Lagos State, our road networks have become congested because of the population, and Lagos has a very limited land area. So water transportation has to be a viable option, but enough investment and attention has to be paid to create the condition that will be conducive for it to work properly.
Honorable Ladi, you're saying has to be paid. Like, yes. I know that our current governor in Lagos State was well aware of all that needed to be done within Lagos, because I heard during the campaign how they had planned for every area. And it was obvious when they came in, they implemented some things. But roads and transport, there were buses everywhere. We know the road is congested. You've bought new buses. You're clearing up the road. The waterways should be like the obvious place where we should have put in money to open up other areas and other options as alternative. So
when you don't have the sufficient funds to
effectively do it.
So why are you still planning and working towards what you know is the best solution to help decongest Lagos roads?
That's a very good question. But I'm sure you're aware that in order to have a solution to a problem, first of all, you must understand the nature of the problem. Then you have to audit whatever infrastructure you have and the different states those infrastructure bits are in. Then you have to try and quantify the amount of investment and the sort of investment you need to do. You don't just come out and jump. And water transportation is something that requires a lot of technical input, because it's something that we haven't done to an appreciable degree before. So we need to learn what we've done, best practices. And if you live in Lagos, you must be aware that about 2-3 weeks ago, Lagos State sponsored a water transportation roundtable, which was to bring all stakeholders together to throw up all the issues concerned. And safety and security was some of the key issues that were thrown up.
Very important.
And also, leading to that roundtable, there had been a study that we had conducted. We had identified people who could do. We first of all have to understand the nature of our terrain and the different components of the plan that will work. Okay. So population growth means we have to know what kind of boat size we need to make the impact. So all of that has to be done before we come up with a plan that is viable.
While all this deliberating is happening, the Jegun waterway, that's from Mautu all the way to Badagry, goes through Ojo satellite town, is being flooded with petrol depots. And you have tank farms everywhere. Now, because of that, we cannot manage traffic anymore. On the express road, as I speak to you this morning, you have tanks packed all the way from Mautu to the trade fair, packed into the old Ojo road, causing safety issues to the residents already living there before the tank farms came. Yes. What is the Ministry of Transport doing to get these tankers out of the road and create that safe environment that people want to live in? Because we have schools there. We have people living there, other people running their businesses there that are being affected by what is happening now. So what is the Ministry of Transportation doing right now?
You repeat it every day.
Yeah, no, I have the organ now.
It's a very good question. And first of all, very quickly.
Yes, sir.
Situating tank farms is not the responsibility of Lagos State. That's DPR. So Lagos State does not control DPR. We need to understand the problem before we go further.
But I hear your excuses.
I want to get the information.
Understand the problem first.
Okay.
So we don't control siting of tank farms.
Okay.
You would notice that about 2 weeks ago, the governor called an all-stakeholders meeting in which these various organs of government, even federal government, were invited. Okay. So at that meeting, the government caused a resolution to be made that I read out publicly. Okay. And part of the resolution is that there will be no further approvals for tank farms from Lagos State government. Okay. And as we speak, we've identified locations where these trucks, tankers, trailers, even on the Apapa Bridge, which you haven't mentioned, it's part of the problems we have in Lagos State. So everybody is saying get the tankers off the road and trailers. We want them off the road. But there are issues involved. Number one, there are hundreds, possibly thousands of tankers. Get them off the road and then take them where? You understand? So we have identified the where. It is preparing the where and getting the buy-in of all the stakeholders.
So the where is available today?
We have Lagos
What's
State
the capacity of the where?
We have two different sites that can take a combined capacity of at least 6,000 to 7,000 trucks.
Okay.
So now preparing the site means building access road and stabilizing it.
That means the solution is a 6-month, 1-year solution.
It won't be up to 6 months, I assure you.
Okay.
In a few weeks' time, we're going to take them off the road. We're working on it night and day.
Okay.
Okay, LASMA is under your ministry. We were expecting a lot of gridlock in Lagos in the last 3 days with the Third Mainland Bridge being closed for surveillance. Tell us, how do you manage LASMA and how did you manage the traffic in the last few days?
Yeah, thanks for that. Somebody has complimented something positive that we have done. So what happened was when we got information that the Third Mainland Bridge needed some integrity tests conducted, at first the Federal Ministry of Works wanted to shut it down.
In July?
In July.
Yes.
But we looked at what was prevailing, especially the gridlock on Apapa Ushodu. So we called a stakeholders meeting. And during that stakeholders meeting, it was communicated to them that the attendant inconvenience was going to be a lot.
Yes.
So we did it a few weeks to engage properly and try and free some aspects of the road, of the gridlock, and then put up a plan working with other federal government agencies like FRSC, with our own LASMA. And we sat together with the Nigeria Police and we came up with a plan identifying alternative routes to manage the traffic situation very well. We came up with what we thought was a good plan, and from the feedback we had, at least the inconvenience was minimized as much as possible.
Yeah, I know I traveled and there was no issue.
There's a question on Twitter for you.
Yes.
The King says, how do we rescue our transportation system from touts and agberos in Lagos?
If it is possible at all.
It is possible. There's a bus reform that the Lagos State government is
I was
introducing.
going to ask about that.
You've seen some of the buses and the
I haven't
Akaja
seen any of
terminal.
the new buses.
Yeah.
Not
Not the
big
small
ones.
one, the big
small
ones.
ones
The
are
big
waiting
ones.
for.
No, the medium-sized buses are coming as well.
Okay. Okay.
So the idea behind that is that we want to give Lagos State the quality of transportation facilities that
But it's about
is
the
befitting.
people, sir. How do you want to help the people that would drive those buses? Because we saw the first set of BRT buses go way into Moluwe zone.
Correct.
Because the people that were driving it are the same people that drove Moluwe. So the mindset is the same.
Correct.
How are you engaging psychologists? Because at the end of the day, I
Correct.
think that's what you need
Correct.
to deal with the issue.
Good. So what we have done is that we have engaged a group that has done it to international standard. In Brazil has one of the best bus systems in the world. So the consultants that have done it in Brazil and in some other similar countries, we've invited them, they're working with us. So what made the other one go the way it did was that government was involved in business. So we've learned our lessons from that. Okay. So a few other things that happened then that we've planned towards to ensure it doesn't happen again, because at the time there wasn't a maintenance and sustainability plan in place. So they ran out of spare parts and there was no maintenance. So we're building all of that into the solution from the get-go. Okay. And now we're not going to be operators. So LAGBus has transmogrified into Lagos Bus Services Limited. Okay. So we're now regulators and enablers. So what we do is, what government does best is to regulate, is to bring all the components that are required to have a successful plan into place. We've invited the financiers, we've invited the technical partners, and we're enabling those who are local. And to answer the question, those people, the agberos and the people who do things in a manner that's less than ideal. So what we're doing, we've also invited them. You have to understand that in development, you shouldn't leave anybody behind. So part of it is there's going to be training. That's part of what the consultants are going to do. We're going to train them on best practices on the road. So all of that is contained in the bus reforms.
We have to run up, but thank you very much. Unfortunately, we can't take any because I know you have to catch a flight. But thank you for, thank you for coming on the show. But we'll bring you back because there are lots of issues concerning transportation in Lagos State.
I'm not even exhausted.
I know Nima wanted to be on the show because she had lots to ask. But unfortunately, because of timing, we can't really.
I assure you there's a lot more the state government is doing that I'd like to tell you as well.
Some other time. All right, thank you so much. We're going to break now. When we come back, we'll continue with the second half of the show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Thanks for staying with us. So joining us on the show is Dr. Elisha Maide and Mr. Matthias Baba. Both are presidential aspirants. Yes. Join the conversation on 070-806-6801. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. I've told you before, we've always had different presidential aspirants, even governorship aspirants, because the idea is to let Nigerians know that there are options out there. So we know there are two major parties and there are others. So the others, who are the others? And we're going to keep bringing them on the show so you know who to vote for. But we heard that you guys are coming together. What's that? What's that about?
Well, it's the presidential aspirants coming together.
Oh.
And we are a young generation that we have different visions from the whole crop of politicians that we used to have out there. So we decided among ourselves, since we checked out each other's visions and ideals, and we felt that the group that we all came together, we have compassion, we have new ideas, we have we need new visions for the nation, and we decided let's come together so that we can be stronger together and work on our visions together and ultimately choose a consensus candidate amongst us. And,
fantastic idea. I love it already. Whoever your consensus is, I will vote the person. Dr. Ide, I would have been more interested in you because you believe in women in governance, and I believe in women.
Yes.
Full stop. If we have a woman president, if she's going to steal at all, it will be small money. But we're not going to focus on your campaign today. And I know that the idea for this alliance is to have a strong force.
Yes.
How many of you? Because I saw Charlie Boy call Showore, Feladuro Toye, Kingsley Mogalu.
Yes.
On Thursday, we had Chike here.
Yeah.
So is it all of you? Because if all of you come together, that's a strong third force.
Yeah.
How many of you exactly?
We've invited almost every new presidential candidate out there. And it's the ones that are interested in joining us. Some of them came and some of them opted out. But the few of us that still believe that we want to stay together and make this thing work out. We are almost about...
a party?
No, we don't have a party yet. What we are looking at is that, first of all, we want to have a situation where the conversation about the governance system in Nigeria changes from what we have currently, the idea of, like you said, that there are two strong political parties and then there are other parties. And it's two strong political parties. They already have an established system, the system that Nigerian people are saying, you know what, we don't want these guys anymore. But for all of, you can imagine the red card movement and all, what have you. So what we want to first of all do is form ourselves into a block and become a force as the representatives of young people, because many of them are clamoring for a kind of leadership that is responsive, a leadership that is not just talking about how things are not done and all of that, but people that have vision and have what it takes to be able to pick someone from the street and make the person into someone reasonable and responsible. So basically, what we want to do now is, we're about 20 of us so far. We've come together and we've started this movement. And what we want to achieve is that consensus candidate, like Jumoke said, she would vote for that consensus candidate. Millions of Nigerians who are actually clamoring for something new would vote for that consensus candidate. So the moment that consensus candidate is announced, we will be able to then negotiate some political
2019
parties.
is just a few months away, and I'm wondering, in order that this does not just remain a talk shop that people are having, what strategy exactly? Because this morning in the papers, Tambuwal, Saraki, they are meeting with godfathers around. What strategy exactly are you using to reach out to every Nigerian who does not know about an alliance, who is not reading the papers, who is just, about one person, want to arrest all our thieves and put them in place? What is the strategy?
I think from what we have been able to do so far, individually, we have people who we've been able to reach out to. And what we want to now do is to bring all of these people that we have been able to reach out to say, you know what, we are all fighting for the same thing. Majority of us who said we want to run for the office of president did not want to run for office of president for the prestige of the office of the president,
it's because
but because we feel we have something to
our nation.
offer. So for that reason, those who believe in me, those who believe in her, those who believe in Fela Drotoye, those who believe in Ikubese, all of us are all coming together and say, bring your believers. We all want to do this together. The first task we want to, the first task before us now is that we want to change the conversation online. This is our constituency. This is where we are. So let us change the conversation in that aspect, because majority of people talking about government not working, government working, defending APC and PDP are young people. So why can't we begin to talk about ourselves? Why can't we begin to talk about the ideas that these young people are bringing to the table?
What we're bringing to the table.
The thing is, it's a really good thing, because it's not to just splinter the votes among many people. So we're bringing it all together, which is fantastic. However, we've learned within one party, within APC, the fact that they don't have consensus in the House of Assembly, the Senate, and the House of Representatives shows that no matter how great the vision of the presidency is, he's powerless when he doesn't have the House to back up, to make the laws, to push the agenda. So we have all these people contesting for, many people declaring presidency, but we're not seeing people declaring for Senate. We're not people declaring for House of Assembly.
No, down the block, in the different parties that we all belong to, there are a lot of people vying for all of those offices.
We have not seen them.
They are there, and we're working so hard
the stakes are high.
Yeah, very high.
People are hungry for change. The same way we were hungry in 2015. And everybody said, you know, we're going to vote for the man of integrity. Now, we are also at that verge again. And people are saying, listen, is there a third force?
That option.
We need to see. It's not about you just come in and say, oh, we're coming together. There's got to be something. We see leadership. We see vision. We see a plan.
That is why Nigerians should get to a point where they will begin to investigate their leaders. And not just go with leaders just because they have structures, or they have money, or they have money bags, or they've had the name of being in leadership for how many years. How many years? What have they done to impact the nation? What are the changes they've made for us? So they have to begin to change all of this status quo and begin to reason.
For this same reason, I voted Professor Shonaya in 2015, and a lot of people called it a wasted vote. Now, if you come into this alliance, there are visions that you have that I believe in. I see you in that alliance, and I vote you. How are you able to then implement all those your visions if you're not the president, but you are in this alliance?
We have had a lot of meetings concerning this, and we have stopped among ourselves that we know our people are going to be voting for us because of what they believe we can do individually. So we are going to adopt each person's vision, come together, look at it and say, you know what? This will fly with what we want to do at this time. We'll take a little bit out of this, take a little bit out of that.
Also have plans to, for instance, if you became president, then he's your minister of something in his own strength.
We are discussing all of that. So we're going to use everybody's vision. And you know what? All of us in this new pact, in this pact together, we have unusual vision. We have, the spirit of sacrifice and passion for our nation. It's not just about coming to make a name. No, it is about a new breed of people saying enough is enough. We really want to affect our nation and change it for good this time around.
There's also strength in the fact that you people have been able to come together. So in case of peradventure you don't make it to the presidency, you don't get any of these offices, are you just going to go back and lie low? Because we didn't hear about this alliance.
We will not lie low.
We didn't hear about these parties until election is approaching. So there's always that pressure you can put on the executive and
shadow ministry. You know, they have a shadow government. So in essence, there's the government running, and you are shadowing every ministry that goes on. Is it possible for you to adopt so that you're relevant regardless of whether you're in power or not? And so people realize that your options are viable all through.
We've discussed all of those options, and we've decided that what we are doing now is not just about 2019. It is a continuous process till we achieve our purpose concerning Nigeria.
I think that's going to break. So hopefully, when you come back with the candidates. You guys have decided to go.
Hopefully,
because I like the fact that so far you've not tried to discredit any other party. You've not tried to discredit. You've focused on what you want to do.
Yes.
Because when people come on this couch, the first thing is like, oh, the country is bad. Oh, this has happened.
Oh, you
we
know
want,
that.
we want people
Everybody
who have
already knows
solutions.
that. We just want to
we
give
hope the next time you
solution
come with
the problems of our
candidates
nation.
so that
That's
we can
what
then
we're
take this
interested
conversation
in.
forward.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, we have to stop at this point.
Thank you.
That's good.
Let's go on a break. When we come back,
Thank you for having us.
love it. I wanted to break Tokwe's head for her comments last week.
So send
We're going to try to review and discuss it.
We'll
We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Well, last week, Friday, we discussed the topic, who owns the womb? And social media went crazy. People saying all sorts. Today, we'll just be touching on that a bit, just to clarify and tie up the entire conversation. If you didn't watch the show, try to go to Facebook or YouTube and check for Friday, last week, Friday, and see if you can watch the show and then see what happened. But it's important for us to rephrase and reiterate Tokwe's position. That's why she's on the show today. So Tokwe, help our viewers understand your position, especially concerning who owns the womb.
Okay, so at the end of the day, what I wanted to achieve, we sort of achieved it because everybody started talking about this. I feel strongly that the modern society should allow women to speak for themselves and speak for their life and speak on their decisions. And what I wanted us to achieve is that we should face the fact that society still feels a woman is a fiddle, second fiddle, and all that in every decision. A woman should own her womb. She should own the right to decide how long she wants to live or how she wants to live her life. But when you come into marriage, and this is my opinion, and I strongly believe that not everybody would agree with my opinion, but this is my opinion, that when it comes to marriage, the two of you have become one, which means that at every point in time you're making a decision concerning each other's lives, both of you should be on the same page. So what the man did was illegal, it was evil, it was wrong for him to go and remove his wife's womb without the consent. It was wrong. But at the end of the day, if we don't address the issue of men seeing women as properties, we will have this play out in other situations where you have a man beat his wife because she didn't put enough salt in the food, where we have other things happen.
Right,
let's deal with the issue of seeing women as properties.
What Tokwe is trying to say is what made him entitled to it? What made him think, okay, I have this right? It's what we are talking about. How did he get there? The society, the cultures that we claim to uphold led him to this. So you find within medical institutions, medical doctors who are supposed to be very literate, insisting on a conscious woman, a sane, conscious person that is looking at you like this, that when your guy comes, he will sign your consent for you. Right. That's the basic issue. They also think that because of marriage, this person's husband must be the one to consent. A woman is already second fiddle. And check, and I'm saying it as with all respect, a sense of, check every medical institution, general hospitals everywhere in the world, in Nigeria particularly. They want to do a procedure on a woman. They will wait for a guy to come and sign. That woman is conscious. She's saying you can discuss the procedure with her, even if it's an emergency. Let her understand what is happening, and then sign. If you need a second signature, someone to witness it within our family members, and that's a separate thing.
I think we've discussed this before, where how women are treated, because we experience it. We are women. People have somebody argued. I was in Accra the other day, and I went with men, and at the hotel, everybody helped the man. Because me, I was just, being a woman, just
carry your load by yourself.
Sort yourself out. Sir, woman, sir, welcome, sir. And I'm like, oh, God.
Excuse me.
So the point is that's how we're seen.
That one is very economical. It is the SARS that dropped the money.
Unfortunately, I wanted to give money. The SARS I was with was a white man that didn't even send their face in the first place.
My husband saw the responses. I was like, how can you say that a man owns a woman? I said, but my husband, you own me. It's the truth. If you want me to lose weight, I have to lose weight. And every married person will tell you, listen to me. Listen.
Don't go and dig it further.
We're listening to you.
Let me land.
Totally disagree.
Let me land, because the disagreement is what caused the issue last week. Because when you disagree and I don't finish making my point, people will take half of what I've been said and then they will conclude on it.
Conclude.
So when you say that a man, and as a Christian woman, I had to submit to my husband. Because the educated woman that got married was told that she was independent. But the marriage, I learned that if I don't learn to cook what he wants and live within my confines, and then wisely understand how to engage my husband's ego, I was going to miss out and lose my marriage.
Mariel, may I just jump in?
Yes, please.
To say that wisdom is profitable to direct. The way you have to learn to wisely arrange your husband so he doesn't get upset, he too has to wisely know that this woman, no. There are some things I usually say. There are things.
You're not married. Lima, Brian, answer. Don't you wisely manage? You're not married. You cannot say this. Honestly, you can't.
See, talk about the truth is, let me say something.
So may I just quickly respond to that? It's not about am I married or not. I'm telling you what is obtainable in marriages that I've also seen. I'm not talking about your marriage.
I'm talking about in marriage.
So I'm saying that what happens is, as far as both of you are educated, the way that you think that you're doing some things for your husband, he too does some things so that the marriage...
That's not a decision. What you say, it might not be ideal.
What I was saying is that when you say your husband owns you, the Bible that you're quoting says that be submissive one to the other. Both of you own yourself. So as much as you have to do some things to please him, he also knows he has to do things to please you.
That's fantastic, and that's the standard. But unfortunately, our culture doesn't say that.
Well,
if you decided to marry, if you decided to marry a man,
hang in the middle. I want us to be clear on what to, because nobody here is wrong so far. No. You have your point. Biblically, you're 100% right. But imagine a couple that didn't go through either Islamic marriage or biblical marriage, and it's just purely traditional, where it's only the culture that is at stake here. At that moment, the mentality is that you own her.
What's
because
the
you've been
definition
bought.
of you own?
I've bought you. I've paid your price.
Hold on. What's the definition of you own? You own in terms of submission one to the other, meaning that your husband. I want to clarify what I'm saying. Okay. You own, meaning that he wants to eat plantain instead of rice. You say, okay, I'll go and cook plantain. Okay. So you are not feeling well. He himself will enter the kitchen to go and cook for you if he knows how to cook, because he wants to please you. Oh, you want to be taking the children to this school rather than that school. He thinks about it, says, okay, madam, I will do that. But you own does not mean that you can remove somebody's body
are on
part.
Agreement. We've agreed on that.
Totally agree.
So it's not ownership. It's not ownership of my body.
But with that example you used about the food,
yes.
Do you realize in some homes,
yes,
if I want beans at 2 a.m., you get up and buy that.
And that's your agreement now in your home. Each home with their own agreements. Do you know that in some homes the husband cooks?
Okay, Nima, let me let you jump in.
I don't even know what to say.
Your reality.
Okay, my
not ideal.
My ideal Islamic marriage.
Okay.
I am entitled to pick my husband. I must consent to the marriage. That's the mistake most people who came on Twitter thought it was the hijab lady who said what. I am entitled to pick my husband. I must consent to the choice of husband my father approves of. If I do not consent to it, there's no marriage. Now, he cannot take out my womb. There's no such Quranic provision that allows it. But culture, the shocks that marriages bring is that once you're trying to balance religion, your education, and culture, people will start to tell you differently. Madam, so you don't kneel, you're an abnormal woman. You should submit to your husband. Your husband did not, you're abnormal. So a lot of things that comes because we do not want to improve on culture. So you have married a woman. She's not your daughter. You didn't give birth to her. You married her. You don't have that right to remove her body parts and control the number of children she will have.
Remember I said the example that I know somebody personally to me that actually removed his wife's womb. I remember that situation.
So to bring the discussion home, when you say that we own each other. Yes, you own each other. Anywhere you want to go with your agreement, because every family must have their own constitution. And it's not for Jumoke to determine how Tokwe does in our own marriage. It's their own pot
and I shouldn't determine how you will do your own marriage.
But at the end of the day, there are acceptable standards which borders on legality. You cannot say because I signed or I paid your bride price, then you will say, madam, I will remove. Guess what happened? In the 5th CS, while she was having a baby, the husband told the woman, and he knew what he was doing was illegal. His claim was that she did not stop at the 3rd baby and removed her womb without her consent. It was totally wrong. Nobody can defend that anywhere in the world.
Okay, all right.
Not
we have to
even
run
under
on.
the
Let me
managers.
just let Tokwe have the last word on this.
At the end of the day, can we just look at the person you're dealing with as a human being and look at the person and say, what you don't want them to do to me, what I don't want them to do to me as a person, if I was in this person's position, I won't do it onto the other person. Let's show love.
Okay, I think we can wrap up with that. Thanks, ladies. We just had to go back to that because that topic trended all weekend.
Yep.
And Tokwe was under serious fire, so we had to just. But I don't know if we even did justice to that. Enjoying that, but
At the end of the day, we can't always
hope
agree.
you enjoyed the show as much as we did. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a fabulous day. Bye-bye.